Krishnamoorthi.
Thank you, Chairwoman Maloney. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can hear you.
Dr. Kathy Sackler, I have a question for you. According to the Washington Post, in 2001, Richard Sackler, the former CEO and chairman of Perdue Pharma, wrote in an email the following. He said, quote, "We have to hammer on the opioid abusers in every way possible. They are the culprits and the problem. They are reckless criminals." Dr. Kathy Sackler, I assume you do not agree with your cousin Richard Sackler that opioid abusers are reckless criminals and culprits and the problem, correct?
Correct.
Richard Sackler also made another doozy. He said people addicted to opioids were, quote, being glorified as some sort of populist victim, close quote. Now let me go to David Sackler for a moment. Mr. Sackler, I'd like you to look at image 1, which should pop up on your screen now. Staff, can you put image 1 up? Mr. Sackler, this is your home in Bel Air, California, correct?
No, I've never even spent a night there.
But you own this property in California?
A trust for my benefit owns it as an investment.
Oh, the trust owns that. Yes, Mr. Sackler, the trust bought this for $22.5 million in an all-cash deal, according to Curbed LA from March 8th, 2018. Let's go to image 2 for a moment, please. Core staff. Mr. Sackler, do you recognize this particular property in Manhattan? This was your former home?
Yes, we sold that.
Yes, you sold it for $6.1 million in 2019. So let's just recap. You bought a property in LA in 2018 through your trust. At the same time that year, there were 15,000 prescription drug opioid deaths. In 2019, you had another property that you sold, this one for $6 million. And in 2019, unfortunately, opioid deaths went up by almost 5%. Now, Mr. Sackler, I know that people got addicted to prescription drugs such as OxyContin. I would submit, sir, that you and your family are addicted to money. Now, Dr. Landau, I'd like to turn a question over to you. It turns out that after the first round of felonies that Perdue Pharma committed in 2007, you, as the chief medical officer around that time, went to the FDA to try to lobby against them, putting in a rule to make it harder for physicians to prescribe OxyContin. Core staff, can you put up document 13 from the slideshow? At that time, you made a 2009 presentation in September of that year with your consultants at the FDA. And in that presentation, you said in this slide, who at Perdue takes responsibility for all these deaths, referring to opioid deaths? And the answer, we all feel responsible. Now, Dr. Landau, I presume that when you refer to we, that includes you, correct?
With respect, Representative, that wasn't a slide that was presented, and actually, it was not a final slide. It was material in preparation for a meeting.
So you don't feel responsible. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely not, is what I'm saying.
Okay, very good. Well, let me ask you this. You don't feel responsible for any of that. So let me go to this question. You do admit that Perdue Pharma just admitted to committing 3 felonies, correct?
Representative, at no time in my Perdue career was I—
It's a yes or no question. Did Perdue Pharma agree that it committed 3 felonies?
As I said in my opening statement, Perdue pleaded guilty to 3 felonies in federal district court.
Dr.
Yes.
Landau, the CDC looked at OxyContin and said the following: we know of no other medication that's routinely used for a non-fatal condition that kills patients so frequently. Dr. Landau, I would respectfully submit that as you seek a $3 million bonus from the bankruptcy court at this point in time, that you remember what the CDC found, and you remember that you indeed are partly responsible for those deaths that you and your products helped create. Thank you.
Mr. Landau, respond?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a question. I would like to respond. I would like to respond by saying to the representative, I've dedicated my entire career to helping patients, both through the practice of medicine and then by developing medicines and mitigating their risk. So you'd be inhuman not to feel remorse for the actions of the company and the implication of the product in so many bad outcomes. But I do believe that the product has helped a great many individuals suffering from pain, individuals who the medicine was developed for and intended for. So I'm not evading the responsibility.
Will you forgo your $3 million bonus? Will you forgo this $3 million bonus you're taking out of the pockets of the people that should get that money from the bankruptcy court?
Representative, I agree accountability is critical. And
yes,
as a matter of the bankruptcy,
will you give up the bonus?
I have already willingly made significant monetary concessions in order to move the bankruptcy process forward.
So the answer is no. You want that $3 million at the expense of those opioid victims. Shame on you, Dr. Landau. Shame on you.
Time has expired. The gentleman